Noodles, not nudes.
Exactly. Men take note. Hey
Hi, everyone.
guys.
Welcome back to Like the Queens. You
Yes.
know, I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Victoria, and we are so excited to be giving you another episode. I know. I know we both look exhausted and busted right now,
It's because we are.
but we are. Um, and do we have some stuff to share
We
with
do.
you? So
100%.
I'll go ahead and start with from our last episode, I think, or episode before this one, we talked about how I was back in Florida and Liz asked me how the dating scene was here. And at the end, we kind of took on this challenge of can Victoria do 7 dates in 7 days? And, you know, I didn't quite get to 7 dates in 7 days, but I did get 5 dates
That's so
in
impressive.
since that
That's so
episode.
impressive.
Um, and the 2 days I was out was because I was dying. I was really just dead with allergies. I could not breathe, so I stepped off the face of the planet for a moment. But we got 5 dates in, and let me tell you, it was a roller coaster of emotions. They all got rated differently, but the dating scene in Florida so far has been one thumb up.
Just
One
one,
thumb
not even
up. I'll
two.
give I'll give the guys here a singular thumb.
Aw,
Because
Florida men.
nobody so far has really given me like butterflies or
Yeah.
anything. But I have had like a good time and have met some really cool
Well, that's
people.
good.
That's what I'll say.
That's good.
Yeah. They're the good ones outweighed the bad. But let me tell you, they were bad. Bad dates this week. Oh my gosh.
I know about one that was really, really bad, and then I know about one that you just weren't feeling like how I felt with the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first date I went on this week was to Disney
Mm-hmm.
Springs, and I met this guy there. First of all, he showed up 20 minutes
Red
late.
flag.
Red flag. That's a red flag. But I drove 45 minutes to get to Disney Springs, so I stuck it out. And right off the bat, I thought he was attractive, but I mean, he was taller than me, so that was great.
Always a
But as
plus.
soon as we started having a conversation, that's where all chemistry, not even like chemistry, just like people skills completely fell through. This man could not talk
Oh
to
my
me. Like
gosh.
I don't know what it was about him, but like conversation did not flow
I get
easily.
it.
And like I feel like I mean, let us know if you guys are listening, but I feel like when you're texting a guy, especially on dating apps when you first start, sometimes conversation can be really, really
Yeah.
hard because not everybody's the best texter. So you give them the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
and you're like, in person, conversation flows a little easier, which is usually the
Yeah.
case. Not not for this guy.
Oh no.
And it just felt so long.
It felt
And
forced.
I was like, yeah, I was dragging out every question I asked him, and he never returned the question. And I
He
was like,
sounds
oh
just
my
like my
gosh.
guy from a week ago.
Yeah, no, genuinely, I was on the date, and I thought of when you were on your date, and you were like, I have to make it an hour. And I was like, I have to make it an hour at least, so I don't seem like mean. But I did. I lasted about an hour, a little over an hour. And he said, do you want to come back to my place? And I said, no, I don't. And we did a nice hug goodbye, and I haven't heard from him. So I think he kind of got the
Wait, wait,
clue.
wait. Did he mean like did how did you handle that situation? I should ask. Him wanting you to come over, like did you let him down easily? Were you like I have to do something else or were you just like no, I don't want to go over to your place?
I let him down very easy. I was like, I actually have plans with some friends,
Okay.
um, in a couple of, like an hour when I got back. So, which wasn't a lie. I don't think it was. I'm trying to like think back. All my days are jumbled
I
together.
understand. It's been a long week.
But I mean, even if it was a lie, like you do what you
You
have
do
to
what you
do,
have to
I
do.
guess. Like you can't be honest, but mm. So yeah, I was just like, I have plans with friends, but thank you. Thumbs
End of
up.
story.
Period. End of
Got it.
story. That's how that date went.
So what about your?
He was a 3 out of 10, everybody.
That's worse than what I gave
Everybody
my
out there.
guy.
Yeah, I just I'm a harsh critic, I guess.
So what about the second date of the week?
Yeah, so I took Monday and Tuesday off. We took those off from dating. And then on Wednesday, I went out with a guy and we went to this Italian place. It was called Pasta AF.
Ooh.
And I learned when we were eating dinner that because he asked me what kind of pasta was my favorite, what kind of stuff I wanted, and I was like, oh, my favorite pasta is a cavatappi noodle, and I love red sauce. And he told me that he didn't know what a cavatappi noodle was, which is
Yeah.
understandable. I just am obsessed with them. So he Googled cavatappi noodles and then Googled restaurants that had cavatappi noodles specifically so he could take me to a place that had cavatappi
That is
noodles.
such a nice guy.
I was like, that's so sweet. Like, I would have just eaten spaghetti, but thank you for putting in this extra
That is
effort.
so much effort. Like, what guy
So,
Googles a noodle type to make sure the place
I
has it?
know. I know.
That's so sweet.
He was very, very kind. And yeah, I really liked him. We'll call him Pasta
Okay,
Guy.
pasta
He
guy.
was he was very, very sweet. We had conversation flowed pretty easily.
Hmm.
He seemed interested in my performing stuff. And I don't know why, but when any guy is like intrigued in my performing stuff,
Yeah.
it kind of like I like that because a lot of guys are like, "Oh, okay, you can
Yeah.
sing." And it's like, "Yeah, but there's so much more." So
It's kind of hard.
yeah, he seemed intrigued. I'm like, "You don't understand." Um yeah, and that night ended well. We ended up going back to his place and we watched some episodes of Squid Game, which was fun. I still am not finished with the series. I still
It's
haven't finished,
good.
but we made it pretty far. Um,
My
and we got a bottle of wine and just chilled out.
Speaking of Squid Game, I tried getting my
Yeah,
parents to watch it, and they watched a few episodes, but my mom does not like it at all.
I get it. Like the first episode moves
It
so slow, but
does.
like after that, I was really into that. I was really into the whole
Yeah,
show.
once they, I don't want to ruin it for like our listeners. So like, if you haven't seen Squid Game, stop listening for a second. But like, once they go back in,
Go check it
yeah,
out.
once they go back into the game and they start over again, that's when I got into it more. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And then when the
Same.
police officer got involved, I really liked his like sub story as well. I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm on like literally the last episode, so I really do need to watch it.
Yeah,
And I will. I will. Next podcast episode, you guys all know how Squid
there's a
Games ends.
major plot twist.
I heard, and I can't wait
I
to
can't
hear
wait for
about
you to
it.
watch it.
So yeah, Pasta Guy was an 8 out of 10.
Yay.
And I'm actually going to share with the viewers this moment. I called Liz after the date or maybe the day after and I was like, "Yeah, I thought it went really well, but he hasn't texted me." And which isn't a big deal. Sometimes, you're just not on the same page and that's
Yeah,
fine because like I wasn't going to go out of my way to text him either. Like it was a good date, but like, there's just it wasn't that like instant. It wasn't a hell
yeah.
yes as Liz says. So, I was like, "Oh, he didn't even text me." Like that's
If it's not
fine.
a hell yes,
And
it's a hell no.
literally,
Yep.
exactly. I live by that motto now.
Yep. Claire told me
Um,
it.
and truly, truly 2 hours ago to this day, when we're filming this right now, he did just text me. He did just text
Are
me.
you guys still
And he
texting?
said, "Oh, will I get to see you again?" And I responded and I was like, "Sure. Yeah. I'd like to see you
Okay.
again."
Okay.
So we'll see. He hasn't responded because I did actually wait until right now to respond to him. So, but we'll see.
Would you want to go out with him
Um,
again? Like, is that something you're open to? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'd go out with him again just to see what else is
Yeah.
there. I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't like lacking anything, but I feel like more conversation could flow and it could lead to something
There wasn't
fun.
like a spark there. There wasn't something that ignited a fire in you or
Not in my
Okay.
opinion. Not in my opinion. But I would go out with him again to see if that could
Yeah.
happen. Just because he was really nice and conversations flowed.
Sure. Sure.
But that's how I feel about him.
Okay, so
And he researched cavatappi noodles. Like
so he's a winner.
he's a winner.
A man who knows his noodles is a winner in our books.
Exactly. I love pasta. I've got some Italian in me, so
Noodles, not nudes.
exactly. Men take note.
So did you go out with someone on
Oh my
Thursday night
gosh.
or Thursday?
I did.
Is-
This is if you follow us
Oh.
on TikTok, and if you don't follow us on TikTok, first of all, go follow us on TikTok.
Hmm.
But I posted about this on our TikTok page because my Thursday night date just got me a little fired up.
I'm fired up for
And I'm
you.
here to share the story. Here to share the story with you all. So, this was a very last minute date. I was on Bumble literally on Thursday. We matched, and within 15 minutes, he was like, "You want to go grab some ice cream?" And I was like, "Sure, let's do it." So it was like, I don't know, 8
Yeah.
p.m. And I drive. He's in my county, so I drove like 20 minutes to go meet this guy. I meet him at his place, which I regret doing, so that's on me. But I meet him at his place, and I hop in his car because we're going to an ice cream place that's truly around the corner from his house. Like it was 2 minutes away. So I hop in his car, and immediately, he just can't keep his hands off me. And I understand. I am a catch, but like I was like,
Yes, you
dang,
are.
we couldn't even get like the standard like, "Hi, how are you doing today?" out of the way.
He's automatically just
So I was
touching
like,
you.
literally like hands. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I could barely even buckle up. So we get in the car and I'm like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
And we drive through the ice cream place. We go through the drive-through. We get one singular scoop of chocolate ice cream. And then he's like, "We're taking this back to my place." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Okay." And
He
it's
can at
like,
least let you
I'm not
eat
opposed.
first.
I know. And I was under the impression, so I'm not opposed to the hookup culture. I've had a couple of hookups in my past.
That's okay.
But I was under the impression of this being like, a cute little ice cream date, at least to begin with.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like an ice cream date to begin with. I was wrong. So when he said, "Let's take this back to my place," I was like, okay. So I kind of started to get the feeling that this wasn't like a date, which was fine.
No,
So I was like,
it's
whatever.
not fine. He should at least buy you ice cream and let you eat it. Like you need to eat the ice cream.
I do. I think I agree with that. I think more now that I'm like looking back at it, like he didn't even have the like audacity to be like to truly have a conversation with me before he just assumed that like I wanted to like come back to his place, which was never discussed in our like messages before
Men
this.
have
So
one thing, and that is the audacity. Literally the audacity.
yeah, this man really thought he was up here, and I was like, "I'm here to humble you." So I go back to his place, and I'm like, "Fine, this is happening." And he opens his door, and I should have taken this as red flag number 2 of the night. Actually, this is probably red flag number like 7 by this point, but he opens the door to a disposal site basically because it looks like garbage in there. The carpet is up off the floor. He's got his dirty underwear and dirty socks just laid all over the living room.
How old was he?
And 20 something, 27, I think.
Oh my gosh.
27. So
Definitely
yeah,
old enough.
he's a grown man. He's a grown man to like at least pick up his dirty
I
underwear
mean,
from the
any
floor.
man that's in his 20s should know better, but especially a man who's 27, you can't even pick up your dirty underwear before a girl comes over.
I'm like, if my younger brother can clean his room and pick up his
Mhm.
underwear, like I think that you
Yeah.
can. So that was probably should have just taken my keys and ran at that point. But me being the kind and generous soul I am, walked right up the stairs and straight into his room because why would I stop it? So we get into his room. We're getting hot and heavy. We're doing the stuff. first of all, he sets the ice cream down on the table, and I have had one bite of it. I just want everybody to know. I only took like one bite of this
And
ice
ice
cream.
cream melts.
Um,
So it's not like you can go back and enjoy
yeah,
it.
exactly. So things start to get hot and heavy between us, and we're about to do the deed. And he was like, "Oh, you're not on birth control?" And I said, "What?" And he was like, "Ugh, you just ruined everything. You just ruined everything. Like, you're not on birth control." And I was like, "No, I'm not." And he was like, "Ugh, okay, I guess I'll wear a condom." Like, truly said it like that. And I was like, and then I sat up and I was like, "You know what? No, it's okay. I'll just go because I don't want to ruin this night for you any more than I have, apparently." So as I'm trying to like gather my clothes,
Yeah.
I'm like trying to find them all over his bed. I feel a tugging on my body, and soon I am in a position that I do not want to be in, but
Okay, I'm sorry.
I guess it happens. But that's just a story to tell. So I rated him a 0 out of 10
Yeah.
because he was not an ice cream date. And as soon as he decided that it was okay to go ahead and just finish all over the inside of my mouth, I walked out because like I was not having it anymore. And he looks at me and he goes, "I needed that."
You should have like chopped
And I
his balls
said,
off right then and there.
"Oh, I was ready for it." And I looked at him and I said, "I could tell, judging by how fast you came," because he actually came in under a minute. That's the second time this has happened to me, so
You must be
I don't really know what's going on there.
Someone get you a trophy.
So, I know. I get in my car and I start the drive home, and I immediately call Liz to tell her that I just had the worst experience of
I'm
my
so
life.
sorry.
And while I'm on the phone with her, this man proceeds to text me afterwards, and he says, "So, will you do that for me whenever I want?"
Oh my god.
And that infuriated me. And I read
Uh-huh.
that aloud to Liz on the phone, and I was like, what universe are men living in? Specifically this man, like specifically him, like what, I don't know what he was on that night. I don't know what universe he's in. I don't know who he thinks he is.
Mhm.
But oh my goodness.
I say
It was
off
wild.
with his head or off with his penis head after that.
Both, probably. If I could go back, would have done both. So yeah, 0 out of 10. And that night I was very, very upset. Liz she can attest
She
to that.
was.
I was literally like screaming on the phone, just because I hated it.
I was so mad
It
for
wasn't
you.
the ice cream date that I had planned for the
You
night.
didn't even get to eat your
That
ice
was the day that I went
cream.
on Thursday. And I didn't even get to eat it. But it's a lesson that I had a really good date the night before and was quickly humbled that dating apps sometimes don't have the correct matches for you, and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay because you live and you learn.
And you also learn about like more red flags in guys. Like it's a learning experience, like what to prepare for, what to look for, how you want to deal with the situation, like in the future if something like
Exactly.
that comes up again where a guy immediately is not respecting you and even respecting you enough to like let you finish your food before trying to take you somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Even respecting me enough to say like hi.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my date on Thursday. Definitely the worst date I've been
I'm
on.
so sorry.
Probably ever in my life. I wouldn't even call it a date at this point because it truly wasn't.
No, it's not a date.
Yeah. So the 5 dates, that was the worst.
We're just gonna act
0 out of
like
10.
that didn't happen. We're just gonna completely erase that guy. He doesn't exist. He shouldn't exist.
No.
He's a nuisance to
Yeah.
society.
So he truly is. So that was my date on Thursday. And you went on a date on Thursday, right?
I did.
Okay. So this is kind of ironic how our dates worked
Yes.
out. So Liz,
Well,
tell them
let
about
me
your
back
date.
up to Monday. I was supposed to go out on a date with another fireman on Monday, but I ended up having to cancel because one of my friends from out of state was in town and this was the last night she was here and I was like, "Look, I really want to see my friend. Like, can we move this to Wednesday?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." And like I didn't think it was a problem. Wednesday comes around, the fireman messages me at like 3:30 and we were supposed to be meeting for dinner that night saying he needed to cancel our date. He didn't even give me a reason. He didn't say anything. He just was like, I need to cancel. Like, I can't do it tonight.
Oh.
Isn't that rude?
See, that's suspicious. That's really
Yeah.
rude, actually. And the fact that he waited so late in the day.
Yeah. And I messaged him either that night or like early in the morning when I got up for work, like just clarifying with him that we were still going out. And he
Mm-hmm.
waited till like literally like 3 hours before we would have been meeting to tell me that we he couldn't go out with me anymore. And didn't even tell me why. And then he's like, "Could you do Friday?" And I'm like, "No, I have plans. I can't do Friday." And I'm like, "Could you do Sunday?" And then
Yeah.
he never answered me. But yet he's still Snapchatting me. I'm about to stop messaging him completely. So Thursday, I need to tell you all about the guy I went out with Thursday. So back in January, this was when I first got out of my long-term relationship. Claire and my friend Charlie Beth, they were like, "We are gonna help you get back out there in the dating scene. You just need a little bit of help." And I was like, "You know what? I'm kind of like iffy about dating apps. I don't know how I feel about them yet." I'm like, "But you guys can create profiles for me, and you can swipe on men. And if I like someone, then I'll go out with them." So for like the first like week, 2 weeks, it was Claire and Charlie Beth swiping on these guys, acting like me, and messaging
Yeah.
them. And I saw like what they were doing too, because I had the apps on my phone, and so like I could see the guys they were talking to, and I could be like, yes, no, I don't really like this one or not. And this one guy they matched me with, he was really cute, and he seemed nice in like the initial conversations, but then I got to a point sometime in January. I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to date yet. I'm not ready to do dating apps. Like, I'm just not ready to put myself back out there. And so I told him to stop responding to guys. I stopped responding as well to the guys I was interested in, kind of just ghosted everybody because of just not being in the right place for it. And this
Yeah.
guy continued to message me for like weeks. He would send me random messages trying to talk to me. And I just didn't respond because I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And so when we went to Wisconsin, because we were gone for so long, when I came back, some of my matches had like renewed, or the guys who I would
Yeah.
talk like matched with initially, like were popping back up on my Bumble. And I saw that guy and I was like, I remember him, like he was cute, but I remember him being like a little obsessive messaging me. Like, whatever, I'm gonna give him a chance. Matched with him and he quickly was like, let's go out. Let's exchange numbers, social medias, like let's do this. And I'm like, okay, great. Let's just rip the
Right.
band-aid and go for it. On his profile, it said he was 6 feet tall. When we met at this restaurant, he was barely taller than me. Barely. And I'm 5'8". Mm-hmm.
Mm. Oh my
So I know he
gosh.
was like,
So he was at least like 5'9",
yeah.
5'10" ish.
And I remember seeing his profile and it saying he was 6 feet tall. And so I was immediately like,
I
okay,
hate that.
yeah.
Side note, as a tall woman, like that's
It's really
frustrating.
frustrating. And I'm like, he lied to
Oh my
me.
gosh.
He like lied though.
Yeah.
He put a false perception of himself out there. And so that's
Yeah.
another red flag immediately. And he was really hyper and like really talkative a lot. And like when he was texting me, like leading up to this point, he would randomly call me. He tried randomly calling me like the first day we matched on Bumble, and we had maybe sent like 2 messages to each other at this point.
Yeah, that's a
It's a
lot. That's
it's a
really a lot.
lot. He's very much like just wanting to call me, wanting to FaceTime me, and I'm like, we can like schedule a time to FaceTime, but I'm not just gonna answer a call like randomly in my day.
From a random
Yeah.
person. Also, like you don't really know
Yeah.
him.
And so we sit down. There's live music at this restaurant, which is why we chose it so we could listen to
Yeah.
a band. That's my thing.
Yeah,
And it
that's
was
fun.
fun. And like the date was going well, the conversation was flowing, but like he would never stop talking. And like he was like the kind of person that wasn't like comfortable in like silence, you know, like the comfortable silence where like you don't have to say something. He like felt the
Yes.
need to always say something, so he'd be like, so yeah, snowboarding, so and just like
Yeah.
constantly saying something, and I'm like, nice, uh-huh.
You were like, our mouths don't always have to be
Yeah.
moving.
So his energy was a lot, and he was very like touchy. Like he was like grabbing my hand, and he's like, "I like your nails," blah blah blah, and like touching my forearms, which is that's fine.
Yeah,
Just something. I'm not a very touchy person, you know that. I hugged you like once all summer.
I do know that. I know. I'm a very touchy person. She's not a very touchy person. We were roommates for 3 months. I went a little crazy.
I'm so sorry. So like the date was ending. He paid, which was really nice. Also one thing I didn't appreciate about him is like I find it really hard not to talk about, maybe it's just like a my problem kind of thing, but like I find it really hard not to talk about my ex or bring up my ex. But that's also just because I just spent the last 3 years of my life with this person. And so he was in it
Yeah,
for most of the things that happened to me and big events in my life. And so I don't know how to not
yeah,
bring him up. And I asked him, I was like, have you
right.
ever had like a serious, like long term relationship? Like, nothing, like, it doesn't bother me to talk about those things. And he's like, yeah, but we don't have to talk about those things. Like, we don't have to talk about it. Like, he immediately shut me down over it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a normal, like, he didn't even have to, like, be like, oh, we don't have to talk about it. He could be like, yeah, I've been in a serious relationship. Even if he didn't want to go into detail.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, no,
weird.
he shut it down. He didn't want to talk about it. And I'm like, that's so weird. He doesn't feel comfortable talking about our
Yeah.
exes when they're people that are part of our lives or like we're a part of our lives. Um,
Especially when it's, like, recent and it was long term.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I liked about that fireman I went out with, like how he was just so honest about his past relationship and was not weirded out to talk about it. Like, oh, I appreciated that so much because it's almost impossible not to bring these people up.
yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And then he opened up to me about his family being from Bosnia, which is like really cool, and how he speaks like other
Yeah.
languages. It was really cool. I have a thing for men who, mostly European men who speak multiple languages. I find it really attractive.
She
I do.
does. She
I like a
does.
Renaissance man. And he
Mm.
was. He's also a chef. So like the date itself was fine, besides like those minor details. Like I would have gone out with him until
Mm-hmm.
until he walked me to my car, and I was telling him about like my car getting totaled like a month ago, and I go in
Right.
to hug him by. I wasn't really like expecting him to kiss me. We're in a busy parking lot, and while I go in to hug him, he hugs like goes in to hug and kiss me at the same time, and he goes mwah
With the sound and everything.
with the sound and everything.
Uh,
But the worst part is, I mean, the sound is probably the worst part. He goes in to kiss me,
yeah.
and his lips are, and my hair is like this. And so we're like this, and he's like kissing my hair, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Let me move my hair. And I move my hair,
Right.
and he goes in to kiss me again, and it's like this. He's like, mwah. And he does the sound again. And I'm like, is he gonna like warm up? Is it gonna get any better? Like, is he gonna open his mouth a little bit? Like, or is it just,
I was about to say, like, is it just a peck?
yeah. And he goes,
That's like actually terrifying. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah.
I'm so scared about
Yeah. And I was like, okay, good night. And I just,
that. You're like unlocking your car. You're like,
I did not turn around and look
at
at him again. I hopped in my car, locked the doors, and I immediately started screaming and laughing. I was going, like dying laughing because it was the
Oh
worst
my
kiss I've
gosh.
ever had.
I mean, it sounds like
Besides
that.
that drunk man like biting my face at the bar.
That was something.
Yeah, but this was my worst purposeful kiss.
I mean, the sounds alone make it the worst kiss.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would have laughed in his face if someone leans into me and they're like, mwah. and they're like actually trying to kiss me, I would genuinely laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I'd be like, haha, that's funny, like let's actually kiss. And if they proceeded to make those sounds, I would be like,
Nope.
no.
Victoria, he made the sounds over and over.
Yeah, I would have been so uncomfortable.
I was. That's why I said, okay, good night. Like, okay, bye.
How you held it in the
I
moment,
didn't.
I'm
I
like,
mean, I jumped in my car and
applaud
was
you.
dying. I mean, I called you screaming.
She did. She immediately called me. She's like, Victoria. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh
I
my
think I was
gosh.
dying laughing for 5 minutes until I could actually get it out of me what was going on.
Mwah.
Mwah.
That's like
And then
literally.
he
I
literally
can't.
kissed my hair on my lips. I was like,
Yeah. And it sounds like he was like, yeah, like that was correct.
Yeah.
Me kissing
He
your
was-
hair, like he was content with
He
that.
was 29. He turns 30 in a month.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
know.
But also like, you know, just get it together.
And like before we move on to like your Friday date, he is messaging me still, like he's Snapchatting me. He sent me a picture like that night of a piece of chocolate that we both like that he had at his house. And he's like, "This is sweet, but you're sweeter." And I'm
Oh,
like, "I'm so sorry."
you're like, okay.
I'm like,
You're like, I know.
I'm so sweet. I'm going to talk about you on my podcast.
Okay, me.
I'm going to spill all the tea.
That's, I mean, the whole story, like, it starts here, and it's like a little slide. It's a slide
Yeah.
down to the sound effects when he tries to kiss
It just
you.
doesn't get better.
I can't. I
My
can't.
mom's like,
do that. I
my
can't
mom's
handle
like,
that.
"Oh, he's probably nervous. You should go out with him again." And I'm like, I simply cannot.
Simply, I'm unable to do that. I understand. I don't think I could. I don't think I could. Because I'd be so nervous on, like, when he was going to
Me
kiss
too.
me.
And like he had the long
I feel
hair.
like,
He had the long hair. He's from Europe. He cooks. Like this man was like had a lot going for him, you know?
yeah.
Until he kissed me.
But it's the sound effects. Never say moi. Please don't.
Never say moi.
Please.
That should be
Like, not in that setting.
that should be a song. Someone should write a song called Never Say Moi. A little
Please.
jingle.
Any singer-songwriters listening, please get on
Get
that.
on it right now.
Because some men need to learn.
They truly do. So let's get on with away from our terrible dates, I should say, and go to Friday.
Yeah. So Friday I went on another date. I drove about an hour into a different county that I'm not too familiar with, which was really fun. I met up with another guy from Bumble. Shout out to Bumble, truly,
literally.
for sponsoring this whole week of dating. Anyway, we meet at, I feel so bad because I'm like trying to remember what each date did. Oh my gosh. Yes, this was the one that I met for lunch, which was great. It was a great time. This man, so I swiped, his profile was like a little lackluster, but it said that he was 6'4", and his first photo was very cute. So I said, swipe right.
If they're over 6 feet
Matched
tall, they
immediately.
automatically get like 2 more points of cuteness on the 1 out of 10 scale.
Yeah. Like if it says over 6 feet, like my finger's already preparing
Yeah.
to swipe right. I just,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I meet for lunch. This guy was really fun. Our personalities matched each other very well. Like he's also very much like an extrovert, so he contributed a lot to the
That's
conversation.
great.
We made each other laugh. Like it was so much fun. Like it was just like having a conversation with a friend,
I
which
love
was
that.
probably not the best thing for him, but like it made the day fun and like go by really
Yeah.
quickly. So I actually ended up spending the night over at his place because we got along very well. And things were going so smooth. And right as we we're lying down in bed, like truly the second before we closed our eyes to go to bed, he like murmurs and he's like, "Ah, I love you." And I actually I didn't say anything in the moment. I just turned around and I went to bed because like I I don't know if anybody else out there is ready for an I love you on the first date with a guy you just met off a dating app, but I wasn't.
I mean, I've had that feeling once.
So, yeah. I know you have. Oh my gosh. So I was like, that was kind of weird, but like I stayed the night because it was like 2 a.m. So I wasn't about to drive home. So we wake up the next morning and I mean, good conversation again, but he starts throwing out these little feelers and like there's a moment where I was like just like scratching his back and he was like, back scratches equal love. And I was like,
Mm.
and like I didn't really know what to do in that situation because like
Mm-hmm.
I did have a really, really like good time with this guy and our personalities were great. Would I go on another date with him is like another story. Like I don't know if I would like I feel like we'd be really good friends.
Yeah.
And I hate to like friend zone him,
Yeah.
but anyway, in that moment I was like, what do I
Well,
say? And I just kind of giggled.
don't say it back.
I just kind of giggled. Oh, 100% did not say it
Yeah.
back. I didn't even say words back to him. I was like, haha.
Huh.
And that's kind of how the morning went. And I just kind of, after that was being said, and just like other little comments
Yeah.
that were very sweet, just very, very fast moving. I just wasn't ready for it.
No, that's
And I
really
was like,
soon to say that to
okay,
someone on a first date. Like even if you're like, "Oh my
it's
gosh,
really
like I
soon.
love you." Like you don't say it.
Yeah, like you don't.
No.
That's just not something you do. So I just like, I mean, I left the next morning, obviously, kind of late in the afternoon after we both
Yeah.
woke up. But it like I rated that day an 8 out of 10, which you can find on TikTok. Wink, wink. Please go follow us. And I rated an 8 out of 10 just because it was so fun. On Saturday, I was supposed to have a date, but I ended up getting stuck at a family thing, and then he was tired, so he was like, "Let's reschedule for tomorrow." It was so much fun. I had such a good time.
Did you?
Guys, I really like this guy. Would I go see him again? Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. This is my first time hearing about this date as well.
Hello, everybody. This is Victoria, live from editing. So I don't really know what happened. I think during this part of recording, either my AirPod died or something went wrong on my computer because my audio is completely in and out from here on out through the end of the episode. So sorry about that. But I just wanted to give you guys a little recap of this date because it completely cut out until I rated him. My 9 out of 10, but it was very fun. The guy was very sweet. I would see him again. We snuggled up on his couch and watched sports, and I learned a few new things. So yeah, sorry you guys don't get the full story on this one, but hopefully that won't happen again. So I rated him a solid 9 out of 10 because nobody's perfect.
Wow. But he was close.
But he was so fun, and I really liked him.
love that.
And he's like cute too.
I love it.
He's like really built. So we'll
I
see.
love that for you.
That was what happened for me today.
Let me catch you up on some things. I'm so
Okay.
glad you had a wonderful date. I have been canceled on 4 times this week. First the fireman, and then I went out Thursday. And then Friday, I was supposed to go out with a guy, and I messaged him. He never answered me back. Nothing. Nothing at all.
I hate that.
Saturday, I was supposed to go out with a guy. Never answered me. Nothing at all. Saturday night, I planned a brunch date with someone for today. I set my alarm and woke up, and he texted me like shortly after I woke up when I was about to get ready that he told me though, he had to cancel because he forgot he had something he had to help his dad out with. And so he's like, I really want to go out with you. I mean, we already rescheduled. We already have a new date planned with that guy. So like he was being genuine.
Okay.
He was being genuine. So I never heard anything from the Friday or Saturday night guy. Today
Yeah.
I post a little thirst trap because Sometimes I'm an attention whore.
We all do it, ladies. I mean, yeah, I won't say it about myself. I crave attention.
And so I posted my new cute little pink workout outfit that's like this pink crop top and these
Mm-hmm.
little spandex
Yeah.
shorts, super cute. And I did. I got like 10 boys messaging me, including the two guys from this past week who canceled on me. Guy from Friday night. Guy from
Interesting.
Friday night slid up and he did like a little drooling face with like hard eyes. And you know what I said to him? I said, "Funny how you didn't respond to me on Friday." Thank
Savage.
you. Thank you. And then you know what he says to me? "Sorry, I was in the
What?
hospital. I had a seizure."
Oh my gosh. Nothing could have prepared me for that.
I know.
Absolutely nothing.
And I was like, "Wait, for real?" And he's like, "Yeah, it happens like once a year." And so right now we're talking about like rescheduling our date. But also part of me is like, "Oh, you had a seizure and you didn't message me still?" But that's just the attention whore in me saying that.
Oh my gosh. Wait. That's kind of iconic. And like truly I wasn't prepared for him to be like, no, I had a
I know,
seizure.
me either. Me either. It like took me a minute to calm down and be like, wait, he actually had something wrong with him and he wasn't just bailing on me.
Wait.
And so then the other guy from Saturday night, he also texted me after I posted my little thirst trap. And he was like,
Yeah.
"Hey Elizabeth, I'm so sorry. I had a family thing come up, like a family emergency." And he's like, "What are you doing tonight?" "I'm out having dinner with my boo Jameson, so sorry." Except I didn't tell him it
Yeah.
was a guy. Also, Jameson's just my friend. I just told him I was out having dinner with a friend that I couldn't do tonight. So, like, we'll
Yeah.
see if we end up going out. I don't really trust him as much, but I kind of give the guy Friday some slack if he's being honest about having a seizure. I don't know why anyone would make that up, though.
Yeah, that's kind of like a big
It is a big
excuse.
excuse. So, like,
Like very creative, I
yeah, if
guess.
he's being, if he's,
If you are lying about
yeah,
it, like why did you say
yeah.
that? Like
So, like, I really hope he's telling the truth. But, um, our listen, like, we didn't start this podcast until like after we came back from Michigan and everything. So, like, our listeners don't know, like, the little thing we were talking about, like how I like falling in love with a guy on a first date. Like, I did meet a guy when we were traveling in Michigan who I really, really liked, and someone who I could absolutely fall in love with. And we both were like really sad that we didn't live in the same state and that this was literally only a one night thing. Like, I hung out with this guy till 4 in the
yeah.
morning, and then I got up at like 7, 8 the next day and drove 8 to 9 hours back to North Carolina. Like, I spent the whole time with this guy,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I promise I'm gonna stay in contact with you. I promise I'm gonna like we can like I'll visit you. We can meet in the middle or something." Boys lie. Boys completely lie. And no, he stopped talking to me just after a few days. And so I've already been out with
Yeah.
like 5 guys, I think, since I've seen him. And like no other guy has given me that same feeling, even like a sliver to what like he made me feel, or like any kind of excitement like that. And so I
Yeah.
messaged him on Thursday night after I had that terrible kiss. Because I was just like, I miss this
Yeah.
guy so much. And I was like, "Hey, very fake of you for not keeping your promise. I took your advice." And I was like, "But I want you to
Yeah.
know I've been thinking of you. And like, I hope you're doing well." He never responded. He never messaged me back. And then today, like, he watched my Snapchat and like, he hasn't talked to me at all. And it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
It's been
that.
a month.
I feel like I'd be sad too, because he kind of got your hopes
Yeah, he
up. And I
did.
mean, guys don't really owe each other anything because it was only one
Yeah.
date, but
He made
like
me a
he didn't
promise.
have to say any
He
of
made me a
that. Yeah.
promise. And like he made it sound like he felt the same way. Like he told me things he loved about me. Like not that he loved me, just like things he loved
Yeah.
about me and like how he wished we were in the same state, like how he wished things could be explored more. And like I was open to that and then he just didn't make the effort to continue.
Yeah. That's
It
sad.
is sad. But also I have a list of things from this week I have been wanting to share with you.
Okay, I'm so ready.
So, after I posted that waterfall thirst trap a week ago, you remember the guy
Yes.
from Wisconsin who Snapchatted me all summer but never took me out on a date because he was too scared of me?
Yes.
He slid into
Yes.
my DMs asking me to send him more pictures of me in the waterfall. Do you know what I said back to him? I
Interesting.
said,
So what did
I
you
said,
say?
sorry, you never took me out on a date, so you don't get any more.
Yeah. Like
Like,
honestly,
why in the
pretty
world?
bold of him for someone who's scared of
Yeah, and he
you.
slid into my DMs again today, and he's still trying to Snapchat me. And I'm like, literally, you had 3 months to take me out on a date.
Literally calm
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Okay, I literally made a list. I
Okay.
accidentally slid into someone's DMs on our podcast account instead of my private account.
And what was the outcome of that? Did they
No,
respond?
I unsent the message like a day later. That's I
Oh, if they
realized.
would have responded, I would have seen it too,
Yeah.
also. That's hilarious.
I was like, this is so
Did you
embarrassing.
resend the message on your real account?
No. I was just so embarrassed at this point. So embarrassed. Um, so the hockey
Oh my gosh.
guys, I literally, I
Yes.
literally have such a list.
The hockey guys are Liz is in
I
love
am
with
in love with
them.
them. So they were doing a TikTok live the other night, and I clicked on it
Okay.
to watch it, and
Okay.
and
What?
Martin was in it too, and I love Martin. He's my favorite.
She loves him.
I think he's the most attractive man I've ever seen. And so I typed on the hockey thing, like on the live with like hundreds of people to see. I said, "Tell Martin and then I accidentally sent it. There was nothing else. Just tell Martin I. And I was so embarrassed, and I couldn't even wait to see their response. And I just exited out of the live and never went back to it. So I don't know what they said. If they told Martin that I said nothing, tell Martin I. But I just freaked out.
I
tell Martin,
That is so funny.
tell Martin I volunteers tribute. I
I'll be the one
I
for
will go
you.
out with you. Like, please don't beg. I will.
That's
And the
funny.
last thing I wanted to tell you is that I matched on Tinder with this girl's older brother who I used to dance with. She was like someone
Oh,
I was like kind of friends with growing up. And I thought her older brother
yeah,
was cute or whatever. We never talked. Well, we matched on Tinder. Neither of us have messaged each other yet. I haven't checked the app in a like all day.
yeah.
So I don't know if he's messaged me or whatever. But we're kind of both just like sitting there on each other's profile and no one's saying anything.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Oh,
Wait, that's kind of iconic though. I hope one of you guys messages
thank
each
you.
other.
Thank you. And actually, I lied. There's one
You're
more thing I
welcome.
had to tell you because it just happened a couple
Oh,
hours ago.
okay.
This guy I went to high school with, he was a couple years older than me. He friended me on Snapchat like a week ago. I didn't respond. Well, he slid into my DMs a few hours ago over my picture. And he was like,
Yeah.
I see you have a public profile, but you aren't friending me back. And I was like, I said to him, I was like, I literally haven't talked to you in years.
I mean, yeah,
And I'm like,
that's
we
funny.
weren't even like close in high school. Like we maybe had a few conversations with each other, but he always
Right.
talked to my cute friends. And like, yeah, I'm cute too, but like he never talked to me
Interesting.
because he didn't want to
Interesting.
talk to me when we were in high school together. He wanted to talk to my cute friends. This is from our girl, Sue.
Shout out to you,
Shout out to you.
Sue.
Thank you for the really sweet long email. We really loved it and appreciated it.
It literally
It
made our
did. We
day.
were dying laughing and like reading it to I was reading it to Victoria while she was driving.
Yeah.
So, this is Sue's story about I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to read it. So, on with my story. A guy I used to work with used to always brag about having a huge penis. He always looked for an opportunity to talk about how big he was and how so many women were after him because of it. He once said that he had a 10-incher. I'm sure you've both come across someone like this at some stage. We absolutely have.
We have.
100%. This all
Yeah.
changed, however, when he sent me a dick pic. His pic was a close up of his penis with a ruler right next to it so I could see exactly how long it was fully erect. I don't know what he was thinking, but it wasn't anything to boast about. It looked like it was only about 5.5 inches long. Big mistake, bro. Big mistake.
Oh my gosh.
He then sent me a message around 15 minutes later begging me not to show it to anyone else and saying that he was so sorry. But I'd already sent it to every single one of my female friends by that point. What woman wouldn't have, if only to warn them all about him? It was no accident that he sent it to me, as I found out that he'd also sent it to someone else with the same apology to her around 15 minutes later, too. Mm. I think that some of them needed a really good laugh, and they sure as hell got one. From then on, we kept on making jokes at work by measuring various items in the office with a ruler and saying things like, "Damn, that thing's smaller than I expected. It doesn't even measure 6 inches," followed by lots of laughter. It was so funny watching him go as red as a beetroot, even though we weren't even talking about his junk. They really do need to understand that if they send us unsolicited dick pics, and it's open season for us to send to all of our girlfriends to point and laugh at, as well as criticize and judge. Telling them that it's small seems to really work well in getting them to stop. The dick pic guy left 2 weeks later, probably through embarrassment. Our boss didn't understand what was going on until after he left. Afterwards, he told her, and she had a really good laugh and said that it served him right. How could we carry on working normally after going through that? This is now the reason that I consider an erect penis 6 inches or less to be small. Do they expect us to react to their unsolicited dick pic with a message of, "Ooh, that's such a nice penis. Is that all for me? Wow, I feel so lucky now. It's so big and such a turn on,"
Yes.
before we magically jump through their screens, desperate for sex, and then jump on top of them? Surely they must know by now that this approach doesn't work, and we are much more likely to show their pics to friends and have a good laugh at them. As a suggestion for a future video, it would be interesting if you guys covered how we were supposed to react to men who exaggerate about their size before we meet them.
Oh my gosh.
I personally think you reacted great to Sue, reacting great to that guy and like making fun of it in the office. Like, served him right, honestly. Yeah, I think you reacted well. I told y'all what I personally do. I'm like, small. But also the fact that he sent this to multiple girls. The same thing and the same apology. Also, like what I do when I'm like with Victoria, or like another friend and a guy, like I have this one guy. Oh my lord. Victoria knows who I'm talking about. He's like, "I want to show off for you." And I'm like, "Well, don't." And that's what I said. And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "Fine, you can show off for me. But," and I sent him a picture of Victoria and I, and I'm like, "But all my friends are going to see it and we're going to talk about it." I'm like, if you are going to feel confident enough to send me this, I'm going to feel confident enough to share it with my friends. But I'll let you know. If you feel that confidence, I'm going to let you know how I feel the same confidence in sharing it. Anyway, y'all, I think this has been a long episode, and it's been fun. Please like, rate, and subscribe to us. We're also now on Apple, finally. So if you like and subscribe and like rate on there, like that'll help us out so much. So please go to Apple Podcast and give us a review. Only positive ones, please. If you have negative reviews, like you can email it to us and we will address it 100%. But also, we are going to start reading more funny stories like what Sue sent us tonight. So please send us more and you might get featured on our podcast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, thank you for listening to this special episode of Off With Our Heads. That's what we're calling it. And come back for more next week. Anyway, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Victoria.
Like the queens!